I want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to my sponsor, P2 Collectibles, located at 204 East McGalley Road in Muncie and on eBay as well. So next time you're here in Muncie, let us know. Come give us a visit.
Hey, what is up, y'all? This is Alex from Plus 3 TCG. We're going to be looking at a deck profile today, taking a peek at Magicians. Magicians are a very consistent deck, still viable this format because of their consistency, and they can still put up a double negate board while still clearing boards going second. It's not as ideal, obviously, to go second with this deck, but it still can. So without further ado, let's hop right in. Now we're playing 3 Wisdom Eye Magicians and 3 Harmonizing. These are great. You're summoning your level 7s off of your Harmonizing, and the Wisdom Eye is getting you whatever scale you need to, get. Outside of that, I don't want to say the Magicians are bricks, but you have to, obviously they're not starter cards, so it's not ideal to open just Magician or a Magician and nothing else, but the likelihood of that happening is pretty low because, I mean, you're not playing a ton of Magicians, you're only playing 2 Black Fang and 2 Purple Poison, and we're not even playing Desires. The only reason we're playing this is because we want to see Magicians. We want to be able to have follow-up turns as well, and that's kind of what these allow you to do. This allows for spot removal, and this allows you to play in your graveyard because you're going to be getting Magicians into your grave through Eggsy's material fodder. So Black Fang for the late game, Purple Poison for the late game spot removal, or the early game spot removal. Regardless, it's spot removal. I'm playing 2 Oath Dragon. I like playing 2 because I don't mind seeing it because it's a low scale and its effect allows me to add back one of my Magicians. However, it can brick at 2, so if there's going to be one card to cut down to 1, maybe Oath Dragon might be viable to cut down to 1 since I'm not playing Desires. But so far so good. I've been liking seeing this card. And then we're playing 2 level 7s Dragon Pit Magician. For the obvious reasons, 8 or scale 8, and its pendulum effect is good. And the obvious Dharma Eye Magician. This one should be pretty obvious because if you don't own a Janki Magician, you play Dharma Eye Magician, and that's the only reason I think I'm playing Dharma Eye Magician. The effect doesn't come up too often, where when you pendulum summon it and you want to protect your Magician pendulum cards for some reason. I don't know. Maybe you're worried about getting ogred. Getting your Harmonizing ogred, but I really don't think so. So Dharma Eye Magician is just there when you don't own a Janki Magician. It's got a pretty big butt. Its attack is decent. Yeah, I've just been playing with this card online because I don't own a Janki. Since I don't own a Janki and I can't seem to find one, I'm just gonna keep testing like I own just Dharma Eye Magician. But she probably should be Janki. That's neither here nor there because the effect doesn't come up often for Janki. I guess in the Thunder Dragon Mirror, the Thunder Dragon matchup, it can come up, and in that case, it's pretty good. But other than that, that's the Magician lineup. Like I said, you don't have to play Janki. The only time Dharma Eye actually comes up for reals is the 2 scale, because if you need a Pendulum Summon, the level 3 Time Gazer, that can come up, but almost never comes up because you're usually special summoning it. Anyways, 3 Cerberus because this card is great. Get you into Jackal King, which is even better because this card, when you special summon it, you can just wait for your opponent to activate spells, or you can activate your own spells to get your counters and then have a negate. That's usually part of the two consistent negates. You can pretty consistently, honestly, get 3 negates too. It's just so good. Such a cool, consistent deck. Then more support, 3 Darkworm. Don't mind the shiny, and then the other 2 commons. It's not a huge rarity for, I guess. 2 Gate 0. Opening 1 isn't terrible. Searching 1 off Darkworm is pretty good because you can use it as a scale, and then Pendulum Summon this, I guess. Good, not great. 3 Chronograph Sorcerer. Don't need much explanation for that. It's great. Also, don't need any explanation for that. You just gotta play it. 2 Magical Abductor. Absolutely love this card, but I got tired of bricking with this card. Opening it when I'm playing 3, and I don't have any plays. So it's kind of one of those cards you want to see, but if you don't see it, it's not terrible. If you do see it, it's pretty good. I'm liking how it's performing. However, I could see you maybe cutting it for maybe Desires, since we're playing so many of the 2 ofs. So Desires is definitely a potential, but some of the starters I would rather keep. That's why I don't play Desires. Then 3 Mist Valley Apex Avion, because when you open this card, oh boy, it's getting on the board for a negate, and that is great. And then all the starters: 1 Foolish, 2 Dragon Shrine. Man, words are tough today. Don't need much explaining there, just for the Dark Room stuff. And then Duelist Alliance. I'm liking this card a lot because this gets me into my power cards. Star Pendulum Graph and Pendulum Call. These cards are amazing. Ideally, you're not getting them ashed, but you don't really have much control over that. So I guess you could play Call by the Grave if you'd like, if you're really trying to save these cards, because these are the cards that are more times than not in Pendulums getting ashed. All of these, minus Pendulum Graph, because no one's really expecting this. Honestly, if they see Duelist Alliance, more times than not, I think the good players are either going to droll you, obviously, after this, then you're fucked. Kind of. Or they're going to wait and ash the Pendulum Call. Because if you're activating Duelist Alliance, it's a pretty good chance that you're going to be trying to add Pendulum Call. And if you add Star Pendulum Graph, it's probably because you opened up pretty well and you can afford that. Otherwise, ashing this is probably not the best idea. But ashing Pendulum Call is great. And that is... yeah, I guess that's that tangent. That can be a problem with these cards. Is when they see Duelist Alliance, they might just wait to ash the Pendulum Call. But that's the risk you take, I think, with adding cards. Not now that Droll's always been a thing. Ash has always been a thing. So these cards, or at least in the past couple of years, these cards are ash bait. And that's, I don't think, a deterrent from playing them, but it is some of the things you have to deal with being a Pendulum player. So, on to the extra deck. So standard, absolutely ridiculously standard, I think. Electromite, duh. Metaltron, also a duh. Lamphorhynchus. Also, I would say kind of a duh, because if you get this cherried, you need something to answer with, and Lampho can just come up sometimes. Your big boys, Boral Sword and Boral Load, these things are lifesavers. They are very easily made, and they help you win games. For the rank 4s, Abyss Dweller, Tornado Dragon. These cards are just your generic 1 spot removal and 2 Floodgate, but they're just responsive defensive cards. And being able to summon these at will, because you Pendulum summon level 4s, is pretty good. Then Utopia for the back row decks. Other than being able to summon Tornado Dragon, playing through back row is kind of difficult. So being able to summon this, and if they don't stop it, then you can just kind of poke for 25 until you get rid of the threats. Dark Rebellion for the OTKs. This thing's great. Norito, thing you're not really summoning. God, I want this to be Naruto's name so bad. So, but until then, we'll just call it Norito. Not happening a lot. I guess you can make it with Jackal King if you're worried. You can make it with Jackal King and Chronograph, and that's all right. But most times you can make it with 2 Chronograph or the original way I stated. Odd Eyes Absolute, and then our Vortex, our German Vortex. That's pretty standard, and then our 2 Synchros. Just board wipes, and then this is for going second, obviously. There have been times where you can, there have been times, a lot actually, where you make your double negate or your triple negate, and you can still get your harmonizing into your hand, and then pendulum. Or there are times where you can like make your harmonizing and get like a Black Fang in your pendulum scale, harmonizing engrave because it's under an Xyz monster, and then next turn just lower your opponent's attack points, and then summon the harmonizing, and then either normal summon or pendulum summon at level 4, and then you can make this to clear boards and then go for game. It's pretty good, and that's kind of the allure of this deck. It's just consistency is fun. People like when their deck can do what their deck does consistently, and that is what this deck does. It does what it does consistently, y'all. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below, y'all. This is Alex from +3 TCGs. Signing out.